Welcome to Empyrion Galactic Survival, where the new day has been greeted by the chorus of shooting down drones as they arrive. That is my third attack on this base, and just to show you guys, I've put a second cannon up on the roof, which seemed to be perfectly adequate in taking down these drone attacks. And well, that done, welcome to what is going to be the last part in this run through for the Empyrion Galactic Survival, simply because, well, the Alpha 9 update is now in the stable branch, and I think it's time now to start a proper playthrough. I mean, we're going to have to accept that after Christmas there will be some more load balancing to come. I'll talk about that, a bit more about that in a little while. And I think it's now time to start a more formal playthrough, but I just didn't want to leave this playthrough just hanging, because I like to finish things off. So I thought in this video what I'm going to do is talk about some of my conclusions, because I've been looking on the forums and there's been some fairly strong opinions. Some people have been upset with the way that the release was done, and obviously there's a lot of people who are not particularly that happy about the new logistics mechanic. Therefore I'm going to start with what I think the devs should do, and I think that whether you play with the volume and weight restrictions enabled should be a configurable option along with the other parameters you can set when you set difficulty. I think there should be the ability to switch that on and off, because I think a lot of people are confusing the actual restriction with the new mechanics. And I have to admit, guys, when I first encountered the new mechanics, I thought, oh, you know, it's all going to be very difficult to use. But now I've been using them and doing it, I actually really start to like them. And probably the best way to illustrate this, guys, is to show you what I'm talking about. And this is the fact that once you press F4 and you get into here, you can see I've got my base on this side, I've got my hover vehicle on this side, and I want to transfer Prometheum to here. I just do that, and then if I want to go into my player inventory and I want to send this over, I can do this. And then if I want to go back to my base and I want to top up the ammo, one thing I will say, guys, is the ammunition seems to keep disappearing from here. I don't know why, but I mean, if I come in here now and we just do F4 and come to here, ammo box, it's there, but I have had cases where the ammo disappears. And I think if I come here, and another interesting thing is you can still click on this if you really want to, but it says that you can't display both sides. And so I think there are, see, it's like almost like I've got two ammo boxes here, which I think there might be a need to do a little bit of work on that area. And I just want to check, see, and if we come to the container here, that now appears as the ammo on that side. Okay, now of course the next thing I want to do is show you the real advantage of the new system, which is in building, because we can come in here, we can put stuff onto here, I can put that on there, and you can see none of this is adding to my player inventory, and it means we can just drop that in there. And more importantly, I want to come out here and just finish this base off, and we come here, press 3. I'll just put a little row of blocks along here just for the fun of it. Maybe we'll just fill in here. I mean, this isn't the prettiest space going, but it will serve the purpose. And maybe we'll just use up the remainder of these blocks by using something like this. Just like that. And maybe we'll just put in the, I think the ability to build is going to be one of the main power capability, and of course if any of you guys like that, you can flip between it and you can come in here. This new system is very flexible, and I have to admit, after some reservations, I'm ready to embrace it and give it a chance. And more importantly, and again, just want to show this, the wireless connections, because my hover vehicle's got a wireless connection. So if I walk out here, over this way, so we're about this far away. If I press F4, I can connect to my hover vehicle, but I can't connect to the base. And the reason for that is that my base is not wireless enabled. If I put a wireless connection into here, I could then communicate with the base. So probably a recommendation, if any of you guys want to get into extensive base building, I would suggest that you probably put a wireless connection in at some point so that you can operate out around here. Anyway, I don't want to get into too much depth on here. The other thing I'm also getting, so as I say, I'm getting a little bit attracted to this now. You can see, and if I change to the base supplies here and the player, and you can see I've built a shotgun because I have been watching a couple of videos, and I think the general consensus is the shotgun is the early weapon choice, although to be honest I'm still hooked on the survival tool. I think a lot of experienced players are greatly underestimating the capabilities of the survival tool. I think you can get a long way using it. I'm just gonna, also you can still tab in. I'm just gonna build some food supplies there, and again, just as a demonstration, guys, I'm probably overcooking a little bit, but I think it's really worth doing, and I think this is one of the real powers. Like over here now, I've put a fridge in, so what I can do now is, if I come into the fridge here, like I can move stuff between. And any of you guys who've played the Alpha 8 or earlier games, moving stuff between ships and bases could be quite tiresome because you had to pick up stuff and go, and now you can literally just come here. The only thing it isn't picking up is the actual food processor, is it? It's not giving me the food processor. Oh, that's annoying. I wonder if we go and click on the food processor, what that actually looks like. So the food processor has the same input and output, so you can actually connect the fridge. Well, that's cool. That could be very useful. And what's the capacity on the fridge? 1,000. Well, I suppose that's acceptable. Now, the other thing I want to show you, because I don't want this video to be too long, guys, is if we come in here and see the relations, and I think I passed a comment in the previous video. I said I didn't really understand how this worked. Well, what I didn't realise is if you mouse over this area here, you will get a breakdown of what makes them friendly, what upsets them, and some of these are quite interesting. As you can see here, like to spawn a structure in Xerox territory is minus 5,000 unless you are honoured. But you can see every 5 minutes I'm outside of Xerox territory, and if they're hostile, it gives you plus 50. So what you could do is go in and upset them mine in Xerox territory. It probably applies more to the Polaris or Talon. You dash in there, you do something that upsets them. As long as you stay out of their territory for long enough, they will slowly start to drift back towards being unfriendly. And it says killing a Talon. Status drops to unfriendly. And the interesting one there is it says attacking predators in Talon territory +1 damage per point. So if you really want to make friends with a Talon, is just go spider hunting in their territory. And I think this one here, if you look here, it says open a container minus 500, drops to neutral. I think that's something you're going to need to consider if you're going to go out and loot their bases. And I think that also comes back to the other element that I was looking at, is doing these missions, cheering up or making these guys happy. I think that seems to be, doing the missions seems to be the big way to improve your standing with these factions. I mean, I'm hoping that over time they will add new features that will take that interaction to a new dimension. And I think that's about it for this video, guys. As I say, I don't want to drag it out too far because part of me wants to get on and do the new start. Hopefully the new start will be out on the same day or the day after when this video is released. And just to give you a bit of background to what I'm thinking with that new start, I certainly will be doing it with the logistics enabled. I will go in and turn that on, because the one thing I haven't really experienced yet is the consequences of what happens when this fills in, when it drops in. Oh, the other thing I've also found, guys, I'll point this out, is when I was out exploring, I think I forgot to mention this in the last part, I actually flagged it. I found pentaxid in a radioactive area over here. So it looks like the starter planet will have pentaxid on it, which would be quite useful for if you want to go out and do some initial planetary experience. The new playthrough will be with the logistics enabled volume and weight, because I'm still curious to find out what the consequences of weight is, because there doesn't seem to be an upper limit. And it won't be a hard start on Arid Planet, because what I want to do, because of the substantial changes I introduced with Alpha 9, I want to do a playthrough where I can talk to you guys about game concepts and explore things without the risk of dying instantaneously. So that's my thought process for the new series, and I think this is where I'm going to leave it. Hope you've enjoyed this short series and found it useful. All I can say, guys, is until next time, whatever you do, enjoy your gaming.